It's just another expiration Friday. Whoa, whoa. Checking on my trades, yeah, yeah. Hoping to find a whoa, pile of money. And it is Friday, October 27th, the last trading Friday of the month of October, 12:44 p.m. here in the farm fields of Valparaiso, Indiana. And the only pile I am finding today in this portfolio is a pile of beep down nearly 20 G's today, 20 large today. Let's take a look at what is expiring. We have AbbVie 157.50 calls doing just fine. And that's because AbbVie is downtown to Chinatown today, despite what? Well, they beat on their earnings on top and bottom. EPS, revenue, both were great. And they raised their dividend 4.7%. That dividend growth on the AbbVie to $1.55 per quarter per share. Hello. And they even increased their guidance. And yet the stock is taking the crazy train right off the rails, down nearly $8 today, over 5%. So, because of that, the calls are sitting pretty, but that doesn't bode well for selling calls. So we'll let that right off into the sunset and then wait for a green day to sell those 7 contracts once again on the AbbVie covered calls. Amazon, one thing that kind of looked good or made me look not as silly was the Amazon puts yesterday, 2 contracts at the end of the day. I did roll the dice and take my chances with the 114 strike price right before earnings report. And guess what it did? If you were watching, right after earnings came out, it was like, what should we do? First thing it did, went up. Then it's like right after that went back downtown, even lower than where it closed yesterday. And I'm like, hey, I don't know about this. So this is what a homer I am. While Stacy was getting ready for our night out, our date night, I listened to the Amazon earnings call and I was like, he sounds pretty good. And then lo and behold, the stock went back up. So these 114 puts, let's just go ahead, just for fun, pull them off the board. It should only cost us $2 to do so. And then that money will go back into our piggy bank and collect 4.9% interest. So there is 2 contracts to close, hopefully $1 a piece. Plus, now you've got these just little regulatory fees, 3 cents per contract that Robinhood is being forced to charge its clientele. Hey, that's me. So let's see if we can buy to close this at $2, and we did. So it cost us $2.06. So we'll put that in the notes. Just got a text from one of my buddies that I need to read real quick. Wait, just wait. Hold on. Let me pause this. And we're back. And that wasn't a great text. My buddy, who I've stored the Mustang GT at in his climate controlled and beautifully well maintained pole barn, is not going to have room for Foxy this year. So I got to find an alternative. I do have an alternative, so I'll have to look into that as soon as I am done with this update. But we've got work to do, don't we? So we close those out. That should increase our buying power a bit. Let's see. We're at 1564. Has it changed? Yeah, there it is. 1609. What else can we do? CRISPR's down, so nothing to do with CRISPR. We'll wait for a green day there. Datadog is having a rough week, so they've got a lot of work to do next week before we can trade them. And let's see, they have earnings on the 7th, so we got a few days next week to hopefully get Datadog into the green, because I'd love to be able to trade into earnings and take advantage of the profitability. I mean the volatility, and maybe then make some profitability. Same with Deere. It is down today in the red, so there's nothing to do with those calls. Same with Fastly. Let me look. Is Fastly up today? It was battling, and it is currently down 0.5%, so we'll wait on the Fastly calls. We've got Gilead. It never did make it. Gilead, they're also November 7th for I was hoping they were going to make it this week with the 79. I would have just let them go, because when is their ex-dividend date? December 14th. So yeah, we would have let them go at the 79, but it fell back down. It's currently trading around $77. So that'll ride out into the sunset. Then we'll let it catch a green day, and then we'll trade it into earnings and hopefully get a good earnings report. And if not, just a bunch of premium in the pocket. Hood, I still haven't decided, boys on the hood, if I should take those 950s and then turn around on a green day next week and sell them into earnings to collect that premium, because right now they're trading under $9 at $8.96. And I like Robinhood. I think they're going to, it's not going to be a great quarter from their earnings report, but we'll see. Hopefully they will shock the world and shock the monkey and get some action on that. But they are reporting also on November 7th. So we have a few days. If I did take those turned around with calls, I can collect some nice premium into earnings and then just go from there. So I think we're going to take those shares on. Johnson & Johnson, man, it's way down there today. 145.62. So obviously the 162.50 calls are doing better than they should, because we don't want to see Johnson & Johnson that low. But I hesitate to buy more shares of Johnson & Johnson, just because S&P is not doing what it's supposed to be doing today, which was holding support at 41.50 and above, hopefully above 41.65. And they're currently at 41.16 on the downtown, down another 0.5% today. So, we're going to be in trouble, in my honest and accurate opinion, if we break 4,100 today to the low side. But we'll just keep our fingers crossed, because right now I'm still optimistic that we're going to be turning a corner, bottoming, and then rocketing up to 4,600. But that's just the optimist in me, as I sit here with I could have bought a handful of, what are those cars? They have a electric vehicle in China that they sell for like $8,500 US. I could have bought a couple of those for what we are down today, but it's just paper money, right? Because until you sell, you haven't actually lost. So On Semiconductor rallied back up for us. They're above $83. So currently at 80. Whoa, they've dropped another 50 cents since I last looked at them. So they're currently under pressure. The $83 puts at 83.48. Keep an eye on those. And when do they report? Let's just check. I don't think they're next week, but they might be. So we better look. On Semiconductor, we got a ratings of buy, strong buy, currently up today, but they've been down recently. If we look at the 5-day, you can see that they're down. They are down on the 5-day. Why is it? Oh, there's my percentage. That's not down much at all. How about 1 month? Yeah, 8.5% in the last 30 days on Semiconductor. Let's check earnings date, which is, that is next week. So, we could make some big dollar bills trading or rolling this into earnings. But I think based on what I've seen with earnings lately, which is the companies that are reporting really good earnings are barely getting a blip right now, and the companies that are reporting flat to down are just getting hammered, just getting waterboarded. So I'm hesitant to make that move. Otherwise, I would easily make that. In fact, let's look at the dollar bills into earnings. If I was to roll this position, 5 contracts, $83 puts, say we rolled them a week at the same strike, right? So there's November 3rd, 7 days out, and we went at the same strike of 83, we would collect $1,525 bills. My buddy apologizing that it was late notice on letting me know on the storage, which it is. I've been asking you for weeks, but that's fine. It's your barn, not mine. So it's still tempting, because On Semiconductor is a really good company. So $1,500 would be great going into my pockets, because look at their financials. if you look at their revenue and just see what it's been doing. So here's December 2013, 2.7 billion, 3.1 billion, 3.5 billion, 3.9 billion, 5.5 billion, 5.8, 5.5, 5.2. So they had a little, these semiconductors always have to retool in order to be able to produce those up to date and cutting edge chips. So then you go bang, 6, 7, 8.3 billion, 8.35 billion. And what do we have as far as the estimate? We've got revenue estimate of 2.15 billion for the quarter. Okay. So all of that's good stuff, but I don't necessarily want to get my hand caught in the cookie jar again, because I keep doing that over and over and over again. So I'll keep watching that, and likely we'll let it ride off into sunset if it stays above the $83. Otherwise, we need to roll that into earnings and collect some bucks before those shares are just put to us. Of course, either way, we can then sell covered calls on Monday if it's in the green. But let's keep rolling. Path, we're doing good there. Where's Path at as far as per contract? 1 cent. So let's try to, I don't know if we'll be able to get 1 cent. Will it even let me do 1 cent? I don't think it will. It'll probably try to ask me to go to 5 cents. Yes. So we're going to leave that for now, because I would take Path at 14.50. When do they have earnings? Got to make sure you're on the right path in life and in your stock trades. So let's take a look at the upcoming earnings. So they're off as far as when they report. So they just reported beginning of last month and had a beat on top and bottom. And they're looking to grow revenue over quarter from 287 to 315 million. So we will keep an eye on Path for today. Yeah. Because I don't want to pay $5 a contract when I think it's definitely, I shouldn't say definitely, don't say that, knock on wood. I think that it should walk out into the sunset at full profit, or we would take those shares thinking about big picture investing. Also, Palantir earlier, not under pressure, currently under pressure at 15.10 as we speak. So I would definitely take the Palantir shares at $15, but we'll watch it. Quiet Riot, what is it at to close? Probably more than I want to pay. Oh, it says 1 cent. Will it let me do 1 cent? Because I would do that. I would close that right now at the 1 cent if it allows me, because that would cost me $10.30, and then just release that collateral and get that trade off the books. Okay, so that one is off the books, and I would take Riot at 8.50. So, but if I don't, I've got a lot of action on my plate, as you've noticed. So we will just keep moving along. Palantir, SoFi calls. SoFi reports next week. What's today? 27, 28, 29, 30. I think it's Monday. Monday. Wow, 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 wow. I think Monday is the 30th. Is that correct, Mundo? Okay, so before market opens on Monday, SoFi shall report. Currently trading at 690. I'm into these shares for 750, right? Did I trade? I know I bought some. Did I trade those? I can't see because of my big head. I only have 2 contracts up for bid. We're in the order. Go to SoFi. Talking out loud. Just talking out loud. We bought SoFi. We've got 500 shares for an average cost of $7.28. There's 1 cent left on these 2 contracts, so that means we have 3 more to sell. I do want to try to take advantage of the earnings because, again, I don't have any idea. They could report, they could match estimates and then go negative and lose 50 cents. Or they could report some actual earnings and it could go up a dollar bill. So I don't know. But if we're trading and we're trying to collect premium and put dollar bills in our pockets, then we have to trade what we see. And what I see right now is let's make some money on the earnings volatility. Okay, so We'll stick with the same strike or what? Let me see what the deal is here. You know what? Let's just go up to the $8. What do you think? Let's go up to the $8. Collect a couple dollars on. Oh, wait. Collect a couple dollars on the call. Do you want to go to 8? So we have 3 contracts to sell outright, right? There's 3 there. Collect a little bit of money, and then we'll decide what we do, what we want to do after earnings and how the market reacts to it. So there's the 3 covered calls for the 1 week trade at $8, and that filled minus the regulatory fees. So we're at $71.91. Then let's go back and roll out the barrel on the current position of the 2 covered calls at $7.50. Let's roll that. We got to cover the 1 cent debit, and we'll go to the 8 on that as well. Put a few more dollar bills in our pocket. We'll put it at the 24. We'll let that ride. Even though the bid is 23 to 25, that should still fill, if not now, very soon. We'll leave that on the board and then go back to the board and check it out, see where we stand now. Let's see, is AT&T up today? AT and the T is down, so we'll let that ride off into the sunset. Yeah, and Teladoc is taken to the woodshed, so we'll have to wait on those. Selling those calls again. Target, it's down today again. Another downgrade. It just had an upgrade. Okay, so those SoFis did fill, so we got that going for us. So now we got those. We have 5 contracts at $8. So there'll be some share appreciation there and the premium that we've collected. So Target had an upgrade earlier in the week, and then somebody else revised their price target down to 120, which is still $10 more than it's trading at today. Probably more than that. Yeah, currently at 107.78. So we got to wait for Green Day on the Target before we sell those covered calls. UPS is Woodshed Chinatown, and I've looked at this trade. I'm not going to look at it again. I can't roll it short term. I like UPS. I'm already into it. 300 shares at an average cost of $157.50. I don't even want to show you what it's trading at now, but I will. Oh boy, it's under 140, isn't it? Yeah. Oh my gosh, under 140. It's almost down to 135. It's at 135.04. So why not roll that, Bart? Well, I'd have to roll it out like 17 years in order to just break even. And I still have that old school real estate mentality that ownership is better than renting. Right now, we're renting this in the form of puts. We're kind of Airbnb-ing it because it's a rental Airbnb that we are renting out to someone else at a higher price. So let's just take a look. So if I wanted to roll this, how could I cover that debit, right? 1095. I'd have to go all the way up to probably the 146, right? Yeah. So I'd make a couple dollars is all by rolling it out. And then I'm still under pressure at that 146. Okay. It stalls me having to cough up the dollar bills and paying like $11 more per share than I should. And I know none of this is, you're probably rolling your eyes and shaking your head. But do I think UPS is worth more than 146? I do. Do I think it's worth more than 155? I do. I think it's worth more than 160. I really do. So over time, that's going to prove to be accurate. You don't know that, do you? I don't. But that's how I make myself feel better. So if I wanted to go out and down, what would I have to do? Could I go out 28 days and get any reprieve? No, because then we go to, I could get $1 reprieve here and make a couple bucks. Okay, $204. But here's the trade-off. So I'd roll out of here with $200 in my pocket, but I wouldn't own the shares through this date, November 24th, unless they were put to me early assigned. And if we go to look at UPS, UP and the S, I would miss the next dividend. And I want that. I want that, please, Santa. I want that dividend. And it's pretty juicy. $1.62 a share, right? And we're talking about 300 shares on this particular trade. $1.62 times 300 shares. So I want the $486, right? Not only do I want the $486, but I also want the whatever premium I'm going to be able to collect in the meantime. So what we'll do is we'll just put this trade on the board. I'll accept my responsibility as a trading fool. Take my shares underwater, but then begin to work on providing income to my pocketbook. Okay. Because then you have the asset. You're going to be able to capitalize on upside as you go along if you are able to work your trades effectively, defensively, rolling, etc., while maintaining possession of the asset, collecting the dividends and the premiums along the way. So we'll get the spreadsheet going on that. We'll do what I'll do is I'll do the cost basis based on what I already own plus what I'm about to own, which is going to put me way underwater on UPS. But if we take that out of it, like how old would you be if you didn't know your age? Well, what is this asset worth if you didn't know its price, provided you had no interest in selling? If any of that makes sense, give me a thumbs up, because we're going to collect money, and we're going to collect and my goal for these types of like underwater trades, that didn't sound like underwater, is to collect more than the 5% that I would get for my money just sitting around. So we'll be able to do that, no problem. And Walgreens doing good, but I think they're down today, right? Walgreens, yeah, down 2.5%. So we'll have to wait on that for a green day to trade. What else do we have left? That's it. So that is that, because we already did make a couple of trades today, which are what? We did this. So yesterday, I don't think it was on my spreadsheet yet, but I did buy Tesla. I bought 100 shares of Tesla at 206.45 currently. What are you doing, Tesla? A minute ago, they were at 210. Now they're at 206.66. Wow. I guess it was good I sold the covered call when I did. So I did make 2 trades already today. Amazon, we rolled 2 covered calls at 133, expiring next week, collected 188. And then I did sell the 210 covered call on Tesla and collected a big pile of dough, $525. So that's what's up. Had a great dinner last night. Just dropped off kid 3 at his buddy's house. They're going to Fright Night at Six Flags tonight. And I, I had him laughing in front of his sister because I said, "Now listen, son, if you get too scared tonight, just take a minute, go sit down on a bench, call me, and we'll talk about it." So we all laughed, dropped him off at his buddy's. He'll spend the night there tonight. I got a fun weekend ahead. We got World Series tonight, right? We have little winery action tomorrow. I don't know why I do that to my liver. I do have Formula One qualies tomorrow, Formula One Mexican Grand Prix on Sunday, and I really hope the Mexican wins. Checo, Sergio Perez. He is with my team, Red Bull. He is in the second seat, but Max Verstappen has that championship locked out. But it's hard to get one by him, even if if the Mexican's close, he should just let him win in his home country, but Max won't. Then we have the Packers on Sunday, and they better get their act together. They really better get their act together, or they're going to find themselves not even being close to the playoffs. So that's what's up. SoFi covered call. How's that still on the board? I thought that filled. Must have been the other one that filled. Let me look. What was that last? Yeah, so that was the 3 contracts that filled. Okay, that's it. Sorry. Can't do 2 things at once, as you know, but just a quick update. We got Palantir at 1501. So putting the pressure on me on my $15 puts. I feel pretty confident that they're going to have a banger of an earnings. And when is their earnings? Is it next week? I think it's next week, right? Is that not ringing a bell? It is. I'm pretty sure it's the 2nd. Okay, pre-market on the 2nd, so that is next week. So if I can pick those up at like, if I pay $15 for 14.99 shares, plus I've already collected the premium up front on them, so be it. Bring it on. S&P 4114. I'd love to see end of a day, end of the week rally. Get us back up to like at least 4150. Who knows? We'll see. But that's where we're at. Thanks for tuning in on this long-winded video update. Like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you in the next video.